This episode just wrapped up one of the best Star Wars TV shows to have ever been made. Yes, I have loved it from the beginning, and the finale just showed how great a series without lightsabers, with little to no Empire, can actually be. Tony Gilroy has definitely changed the game in terms of Star Wars, and I can't wait for Season 2, which has started shooting, by the way, and will hopefully come by winter 2023. Episode 12 opens on Ferrix with Wilmon, who is building something, although we quickly realize that it has nothing to do with his personal work. He is actually building an explosive. And of course, him and every other character that we have seen in this season, it all builds up to Marva's funeral. This is very interesting because both Wilmon and Cassian Andor have suffered in the hands of the Empire. We see from the flashbacks that Clem was hung by the Empire, and now Wilmon's father suffered the same fate, albeit death. With Ferrix, Tony Gilroy specifically wanted to show how people live under oppression. There is no more choosing. If you think there's a choice, you are wrong. Things have come to a head. You either react or stay playing dead. Dedra as well returns to Ferrix, and she is anticipating Andor's arrival to Marva's funeral. Corv immediately fills her in, but what's happening with the streets of Ferrix, but they are entirely unaware that Cinta has trailing them this entire time. Brasso is made aware that Cassian has made contact with Zan, and he will be making his way around, supposedly. There's a new character, though, that seems to be betraying their trust, and this is Nerky, who goes on to actually inform the Empire of Cassian Andor's reappearance. Although everybody was present on Ferrix, Mon Mothma was not. We had some quick scenes with her where we realized that she has finally succumbed to her pressures. First of all, she awaits her husband outside of a party where she finally realizes that Perrin has lost it completely. This is of course bad news for Mon Mothma, who is trying to keep everything in her life secret and not to get out of control. It is unfortunate that the driver actually hears everything that they're discussing. When we first see Cassian make his way back to Ferrix, we don't really know what the plan is as of yet, but we now know Nemik's manifesto has definitely made an impact. Andor has been a collection of speeches. If anybody is going to make an edit out of all the inspiring speeches that this series has made through Tony Gilroy, we're going to have minutes and minutes of actual real-life advice. We've heard it countlessly with Luthen, we heard it with Nemik's manifesto, and again this series doesn't disappoint because Marva in the end makes the best speech recently heard about how we should stand up to tyranny. And who can forget the touching moment where Cassian actually sheds a tear that he wasn't here to save Marva. Again, a lot of parallels. This was a direct hint of Anakin Skywalker, how he first left his mother, promising to return, only to be back and find her dead. We now learn that Cassian has come back for Bix at the very least, while Vel and Luthen have also arrived in hopes of finally finishing their job that started with the Aldhani mission. They want to find Cassian and kill him before the Empire catches him alive and finds out about everybody. Back on Coruscant, of course, the driver was listening in for a reason because he is an ISB spy. In fact, he reports directly to Blevin, who is glad to see that somebody near Mon Mothma is in big trouble. They could use Perrin to get to Mon Mothma easily, although in the end it works in Mon Mothma's favor because Blevin now believes that their questionable banking decisions have been made by Perrin, who has a gambling problem, and not because of the suspicious activities from Mon Mothma. We also see the aftermath of the destruction of Ento Krieger and his men. Dedra, understandably, is frustrated that they did not catch Krieger alive for information, although Pettigras and others are very much glad to have made an example out of him. As I said, everything is building up to the funeral. Cassian gets Bix out of prison. We see how much Bix mentally has been broken down. We also see Cyril and Sergeant Linus be back on Ferrix too, but now things have finally come to a head. The daughters of Ferrix, together with other musicians and participants in the funeral, start marching their way throughout the city. In the final moments, we realize that Deidre and everybody else was wrong about Cassian Andor, because his true mission was first to free Bix, because she has been imprisoned because of him. This shows how much he cares about people too. All their focus were on the funeral, and Cassian took advantage of this, because they virtually left Bix unguarded. As we know by now, Ferrix has a very strong sense of community. They have a rich culture and history in that planet. The people are all together for one. This is what Tony Gilroy has specifically wanted to show us from the beginning with this series. Throughout the episode, there are very small scenes and small moments that really show us how world building goes. Especially the scenes with the musicians were very powerful for me, because practically in Star Wars we've only seen the grand things, but we've never actually focused on the details this much. But most of all, there are really no good guys and bad guys in Andor, and it's not a cliche way. It's really honed in, where everybody is prepared to do anything just in order to get ahead or get to their agenda. Now, what can be really said about Marva's eulogy? It was splendid and perfect. B actually displays the hologram, and it looms over the crowd in a big fashion. She tells the people of Ferrix that they have been sleeping, turning away from the truth that they do not want to actually come head to head with. Until they stand up, the wound won't heal, because the Empire is that disease that thrives within darkness. This speech, I think, was very much stretched out from the reaction of Padme that she had inside the Senate building during Revenge of the Sith, where with one swift line, she said, "So this is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause." It felt way too familiar. It is in fact this message that has one Imperial infuriated. He cannot wait for Andor any longer, and he actually flips beat on its back, and this is when the crowds start to get violent. Brasso is one of the first to throw a punch, then everybody gets involved. The riot troopers are trying to keep the crowd at bay. All-out chaos ensues, and it comes to a point of no return when Wilmon actually throws the bomb their way. His bomb kind of lands on the Imperials' weaponry and grenades that gives out a bigger, larger explosion that affects the entire town, basically. Now, everybody makes a run for it. Cassian escorts Bix to her safety, Brasso as well, as they get off planet. Cassian stays behind, because previously, through his binoculars, he had seen that Luthen was on the planet. Deidre was almost killed if it wasn't for Cyril, who actually saved her life, and Corv gets a knife to his chest from Cinta. In the end, when it's all said and done, the Empire has definitely gotten a bruised eye in this instance, and we don't really know what was the aftermath of this destruction. In the waning closing moments, we understand that Mon Mothma has finally succumbed to the pressure, and we see that she has agreed to the deal she made with Davo, presenting her daughter for his son. When Luthen retreats to his Hallcraft, he is instantly made aware that something is wrong, as we see Cassian emerge from behind and gives Luthen an ultimatum. He left his Briar pistol in Luthen's reach for a purpose: either kill me or take him in. And with a slight smile from Luthen's face, Season 1 actually closes out in a perfect moment where we realize what is about to happen in the next season and how much more bigger it will be, in my opinion. Of course, if you missed it, now is the time to go check it again, because we actually got the first post-credit scene in this series, and that was what the guys were building on Narkina 5. We now see that it was one of the pieces crucial to the building of the Death Star. That shot was just beautiful, breathtaking, everything that we can expect from Season 2. Season 1 has set up so perfect and with such great timing that I can't wait for a year now to see Season 2 and what will happen there. Let me know, what did you guys think about the entire series down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe for dailies. Now you have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you. Until then.